This project will create hundreds of direct and indirect employment opportunities for our teeming youth, both skilled and unskilled.
President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurates integrated gas handling facility, renews commitment to promoting effective utilization of gas resources.
CTF should coordinate the process for planning of the vaccines in a safe, effective, and timely manner.
More work for Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 as FCT Task Force commences safety protocols enforcement. Plus, life after abduction. Correspondent interacts with students of Government Science Secondary School, Kankara. Hello and welcome to NTA Network News at 9. I am Ian Ray John. Hingino John Adams will be reading from our Lagos Network Center. Thank you for joining us. In furtherance of the Buhari administration's gas utilization agenda aimed at ensuring effective utilization and monetization of the nation's gas resources, an integrated gas handling facility as well as liquefied petroleum gas storage and dispensing plants have been inaugurated. The waste to well facility situated at Oedo, Edo State, is to, amongst others, support efforts at eliminating flared gas and process over 200 million standard cubic feet of lean gas to the domestic market per day. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony virtually, described the epoch-making event as promise delivered. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
At the turn of the year 2020, this administration made solemn declarations to the Nigerian public.
The promise was to expand the gas sector footprints by scaling up the development and utilization of Nigeria's abundant natural gas resources. This is to, amongst others, help to spur industrialization, provide clean and efficient energy for transportation and household use, as well as increase the nation's exports into the international market. And on this backdrop, 2020 was embodied Nigeria's year of gas.
Since then, we have followed through with actions that have translated those plans into tangible projects with monumental value additions to the Nigerian economy. I commend the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation for completing this project that is surely supportive of this administration's drive to bring prosperity and comfort to the Nigerian people. The integrated gas handling facility project will also support the ongoing drive towards providing alternative auto fuel under the Natural Gas Expansion Program initiative.
Apart from being the largest onshore liquefied petroleum gas plant in Nigeria, with the potential of supplying about 20% of Nigeria's liquefied petroleum gas demand, the Oredo Integrated Gas Handling Facility will be delivering 240,000 metric tons of commercial-grade liquefied petroleum gas and propane.
In addition to its import institution benefits, that brings us a step closer to self-sufficiency in liquefied petroleum gas production and also supporting the growth of small and medium enterprises in the host communities. This project will create hundreds of direct and indirect employment opportunities for our teeming youth, both skilled and unskilled.
President Buhari also takes pride in the accomplishments of key gas infrastructure projects like the Obiafu, Obricon Urban, OB3 and Escravos Lagos Pipeline System 2, as well as the flag off of the construction of the 614-kilometer Ajaokuta Kaduna Kano gas pipeline project. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Nigeria has promised to give robust support to the Republic of Niger as the neighboring country prepares for presidential and National Assembly elections later this month. President Muhammadu Buhari made the promise while receiving an audience from Vice President Namadi Sambo, who heads ECOWAS election mission to the West African nation. Again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president also granted audience to former President Goodluck Jonathan on the political situation in the Gambia.
Basking in the euphoria of the successes achieved by the ECOWAS in addressing the socio-political situation in the Republic of Mali, former President Goodluck Jonathan, who is the special envoy and mediator of the sub-regional organization to the West African nation, is here for talks with President Muhammadu Buhari. Mr. President, the talks were, however, not on Mali, but the political situation in the Gambia, where incumbent President Adama Barrow, who visited President Muhammadu Buhari early this month, is seeking re-election. Dr. Goodluck Jonathan's engagement with President Muhammadu Buhari lasted about 30 minutes, after which he spoke to NTA News.
The president of the Gambia invited us to participate in a little political stalemate bordering on a new constitution. And that I was asked as an extension of the job I've already been doing at the instance of the president and other ECOWAS heads of state. So I came back last night and I will finish our first set of discussions. We'll continue in January. So I have just come to brief Mr. President about that because we need to know details about the issues. We are progressing, but we have not concluded. But we are hopeful that we'll conclude it properly.
What have been the challenges?
It's human. Political. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Similarly, former Vice President Muhammad Namadi Sambo briefed President Muhammadu Buhari on his election mission to the Republic of Niger on the mandate of ECOWAS. He said strategic meetings are already being held with relevant stakeholders. ECOWAS, the former Vice President, promised would ensure peaceful and fair elections in the West African nation despite the current political, legal and security issues. President Muhammadu Buhari applauded the Nigerian leader Muhammadu Isufu for not attempting to tamper with the constitution of his country and elongate his stay in power after serving for the maximum 2 terms. He described the president of Niger, whom he is regularly in touch, as quite decent. Nigeria and Niger share more than 1,400 kilometers of land border, which President Muhammadu Buhari said can only be supervised effectively by God. The president, however, promised to remain focused, committed, and supportive of all genuine efforts at stabilizing the Sahel region in the best interest of the 2 countries and indeed West Africa. During the meeting, the former vice president congratulated President Buhari on the successful return of the abducted Kankara schoolboys in Katsina State, as well as his 78th birthday. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Now, talking health, sequel to the new surge in the number of coronavirus cases across the country, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the extension of the mandate of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 till the end of March next year. Receiving the end-of-year report of the task force on the national response to the global pandemic, the president said, with new epicenters now identified, Nigeria cannot afford to lose the gains achieved in the last 9 months. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
The NOVR report submitted by the chairman of the PTF and secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, highlights the challenges encountered in the national response to COVID-19 and lessons learned. These include the urgent need for a dedicated fund to address all pandemics and outbreaks, major reform of the health sector, enhancing the economic sustainability drive, as well as the recovery and preservation of lives and livelihoods.
Mr. President, the year 2020 has been very significant to humanity. As we approach 2021, therefore, the Presidential Task Force is recalibrating to enable it to respond to a more effective manner to the new dynamics thrown up by the pandemic as a result of the new wave of infections and the arrival of vaccines. This is work in progress, and all members would want to assure you and wish to restate that they are more determined and rededicated to ensure that we overcome this pandemic and return our country and our people to normalcy.
The next year will be all about the COVID-19 vaccine. This will be a huge logistic challenge for the country, and Mr. President will require your leadership and continued commitment. All hands must be on deck to deliver and overcome the challenges of securing the supply of safe and effective vaccines, logistics, and even more importantly, public acceptance of the vaccine.
President Muhammadu Buhari said Nigeria is clearly in a perilous situation given the virulent nature of this second wave of the coronavirus pandemic, and therefore decisive actions must be taken to protect the people.
That the PTF should coordinate the process for planning and the strategy for assessing, delivery, and the administration of the vaccines in a safe, effective, and timely manner. This is an important obligation that we owe Nigerians as we go into the year 2021, and it must be carried out through an efficient machinery.
The PTF has also been directed to engage with states for them to assume full ownership of this stage of the response by deploying legal structures and resources, including enforcement, to manage the pandemic within their jurisdictions.
I have authorized the PTF and the Nigerian Immigration Service to ensure that all inbound passengers who failed to show up for post-arrival coronavirus tests are sanctioned within the ambit of the law for breaching the public health protocols.
As the President insists, now is the time for collective efforts to be intensified, and therefore urge all subnational entities, traditional rulers, religious leaders, and leaders of thought to collaborate with the PTF by taking up the responsibility for risk communication and community engagement at all levels.
It must be emphasized that this administration recognizes that an effective and efficient health sector represents a significant component of our security and economic strategy.
And as the festive season approaches, President Muhammadu Buhari made a case for all Nigerians to remain vigilant and stay safe. Non-essential trips and large gatherings, he emphasized, should be avoided or shelved completely. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemiason, has directed officers on grade level 12 and below to stay at home for a period of 5 weeks, effective Wednesday, 23rd December 2020, and await further directive following the President's approval of the PTF recommendations on COVID-19 second wave. In a statement, Dr. Yemiason says this notwithstanding, the affected officers are expected to perform their duties from home, while officers on grade level 13 and above are to adhere to safety protocols as they resume for daily duty. In line with the PTF's prescription, virtual meetings are encouraged in offices to minimize physical contacts, and permanent secretaries and chief executive officers are expected to sustain the provision and use of necessary amenities in compliance with the existing guidelines to prevent the spread of the pandemic. In addition, security operatives should be directed to demand for staff identification to ensure that they are on grade level 13 and above before granting access to the premises. Permanent secretaries and chief executive officers are hereby enjoined to bring the contents of this circular to the attention of all concerned and ensure compliance. And still on the pandemic, the Federal Capital Territory Ministerial Task Force has commenced enforcement on COVID-19 safety protocol compliance in Abuja. FCT Commissioner of Police, Bala Shiroma, led the enforcement team on the first day of the exercise. Shaibu Onoze Yakubu tells us more.
Now your permission to come on with the question.
Yes, you can immediately commence the
That permission granted by the FCT Police Commissioner Bala Shiroma signals the commencement of COVID-19 enforcement on safety protocol compliance. The task team, with membership drawn from the various security agencies, swung into action. Wuse Market, Baja Roundabout, and Barnes Plaza were visited, where the team sensitized residents on the need to wear face masks while in public places. Vehicles were impounded, while motorists and other residents not wearing face masks were arrested.
We've accosted a lot of people not complying with the COVID protocols. There is a lot of overloading in public transportation. There is no use of the face mask by individuals. If we are to succeed in our efforts to contain the spread of this disease, all hands must be on deck.
All the arrested violators were pardoned and impounded vehicles released to their owners on the first day of the enforcement. The exercise will be sustained to ensure residents adhere to the health guidelines on COVID-19. Shuaibu Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
You're watching the Network News at 9 on NTA. Ahead, construction of housing units for IDPs commence across the country. Details in the second part of tonight's news this day.
Are you ready for this?
Let me hear you, AJ.
Ready for this?
Give me some bass.
That good for you?
Nice, AJ. Bring it out. Double it.
I was born hungry for success. It's the Nigerian way.
Glow gets it. Champions stay hungry. Oh yeah. Glow gets it big time.
One more for sure.
Champions go the distance
And then go further. Glow, the heart of a champion.
Oh, see how oily I am. It'll take forever to clean this.
Take it easy, Pan. Your days of endless scrubbing are over. Madame just bought Sunlight dishwashing liquid.
What do you know about a pan's life?
This advanced formulation has real lemon juice that'll cut through all those stains fast in just one wipe.
Wow, that was fast.
See how easy it is to remove oil in one wipe?
Sunlight dishwashing liquid removes oil stains in just one wipe.
Mama me now want send money, make me now collect for school. Open now one withdraw from your account, but you no carry in card. Hey, written them go use. Amomo, them go use. Amomo agents, them go use you. 60 won't pay light bill plus recharge Go TV. Nishi for no go Miss Telemundo. Tamu no say she won't buy data for phone. Waiting them go use. Amomo, them go use. Amomo agents, them go use you.
Now with your Momo agent, you fit send and receive money, plus to withdraw money for your bank account without card or data. You fit also buy airtime and data or pay any kind bill where you want. Just dial *223# to see the Momo agent when near you. Momo agent, safe, fast, no wahala.
There is one that has class. And did I pass my neighbor?
Don't be a joy killer. There is the right gadget for every moment. Redmi Note 9 Pro. Upgrade your life. Powered by Xiaomi. There are no small beginnings, only stepping stones to bigger things. That's our philosophy at Premium Pension. And so no matter the size of your money, our team of expert fund managers invested wisely and actively to make sure your money is always working as hard as you do. After all, the things we're building today can help shape your future in the long run. And with the right partner by your side, the one thing you're sure to do is soar. Premium Pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
The new Lifebuoy hand sanitizers with 70% alcohol will kill 99.9% of germs. Now available in convenient packs. Let us all take responsibility to fight this pandemic together.
After a 7-goal demolition at the hands of the champions last time out, will Crystal Palace enjoy a Merry Christmas when they visit Villa Park? This Saturday, it's Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Babai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up, in association with Goal.com.
Thank you for staying. The National Assembly on Monday passed the 2021 appropriation bill of 13.5 trillion naira. It is 505 billion naira higher than the figure submitted by the executive. The National Social Investment Program accounts for the major increment. Let's now join National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo for an overview.
Less than 3 months after President Muhammadu Buhari presented the 2021 appropriation bill before the joint session of the National Assembly, its committees on finance have concluded scrutiny of the money bill and the budget of economic recovery and resilience passed. The 2021 budget is predicated on crude oil production of 1.86 million barrels per day, an exchange rate of 379 naira to $1, oil benchmark of $40 per barrel. 4.1 trillion naira is for capital expenditure. Recurrent expenditure of 5.6 trillion. 496.5 billion is for statutory transfer, while 3.3 trillion is for debt service. Federal Ministry of Works and Housing received the highest allocation of 399.6 billion. Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, 376.3 billion. Federal Ministry of Agriculture, 211 billion. Federal Ministry of Transportation, 209.7 billion. Ministry of Power, 206.7 billion. Federal Ministry of Water Resources, 159.7 billion. 156.1 billion is for education. Health, 134.5 billion. Defense, 127.8 billion, while the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture has 19.7 billion. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Many thanks, Ignatius. Now joining us live in the studio to discuss the 2021 budget is Uche Waleke, Professor of Capital Market and a financial economist. He's actually from the Nasarawa State University. Many thanks for joining us, Prof.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
All right, so let's begin. Looking at the 2021 appropriation bill, it's been increased by over 500 billion naira. What do you make of this?
Yeah, for me, the starting point is to even commend the National Assembly for keeping to its promise of ensuring that the appropriation bill gets passed, before the end of the year. What that means is that it now, puts the budget, gives the budget a head start in terms of implementation. Because what we've noticed is that over the years, the adverse variances we've had in budget implementation, have been not just because of revenue shortfalls, but also because of late passage of the budget. So I want to commend the National Assembly for that. I also want to extend the same commendation to the executive arm for even presenting it in good time on the 8th of October. This is the second time it's happening. It was on 8th of October, also the previous year. So allowing the National Assembly, of course, enough time to interrogate the budget. So, and I must say that this deliberate effort to fix the budgetary cycle and bring it in line with the calendar year, is quite commendable.
So it means the increase is okay too?
No, yes, that brings me to the other issue. The fact that the National Assembly, again, did not alter the parameters, the assumptions. Oil price of $40 per barrel, the exchange rate of 379, production of 1.86 million per day. So all these were left intact. Now, the increase that we've seen, about 500 billion, has also reflected in the capital component, which to me is also good. It's not any recurrent. And that's why the capital component has moved from 3.6 trillion to 4.2 trillion. So
what about the fact that the 2020 budget is going to run till March of next year? Looking at all of this together.
I also think it's a good development because it will also help to support growth. It is a budget of recovery and resilience, so it will help to support the recovery efforts. What we've seen in the past is anytime the budget is rolled over, the other budget, the one coming after it, doesn't really kick off until that one ends. But this time around, the National Assembly is saying both of them will run concurrently. I mean, the capital component. So as we are implementing the capital component, the balance of it between January and March next year, that of 2021 is also taking place. So as I said earlier, that will mean, of course, more money going into capital projects, and of course, enhancing development in the process.
So how do we now make the budget, work for the Nigerian people? Because, I'm sure the average Nigerian would tell you they do not get to feel the impact of the budget. How do we get to make the budget actually work for us in 2021, considering the issues at hand and, COVID-19, of course? So what do you think should be done?
Yes, this year, no doubt, has been a difficult year for many Nigerians on account of, COVID. And the government is now coming up with a budget of, recovery, as it were. And as you know, the economy is facing a twin problem of not just economic recession, but also, a rise in the cost of, commodities. So we have inflation on the one hand, we also have recession. So the government needs to tackle the two, through this budget. And that's why I'm happy that the priorities, appear right. The priorities in terms of what has been allocated to works, transport, agriculture, power, including education and health. So everything now boils down to implementation, and of course implementation is a function of revenue in the first instance, and also is a function of people getting to work, which is why I'm a little worried that COVID-19 is trying to rear its head once again in Nigeria, and the response we are appearing to adopt is also the same strategies that we used in the past, which help to put the economy in recession. So I don't support the idea of lockdowns, movement restrictions, as a strategy for addressing, COVID-19. Yeah. So what I think we should be doing should be to scale up the sensitization, campaigns to let people know how to, prevent it.
All right.
Okay, as opposed
so we can also go about our normal activities without having to put the economy.
When you stop people from work, when you do that, of course, it impacts negatively
on the economy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor Uche, for joining us. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. In other news, the Nigeria Governors Forum has commended the commitment of Zamfara State Governor Mohammed Bello in the fight against banditry and abduction in Zamfara State and the northwest region of the country. A four-member delegation of the forum, led by its chairman and governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi, described the insecurity in Zamfara State as painful and regrettable and pledged the forum's commitment's continued support to end the state of restlessness and abduction.
The security situation in the country is not a Northwest problem. It's a Nigeria's problem. So all of us must do whatever we can within our powers to put a stop to it. And we can only do that if we work collectively.
The governor of Zamfara State appreciates the solidarity visit and says it will serve as a morale booster to sustain the onslaught against banditry and abduction in the state and the northwest region. He describes as unpatriotic the falsehood making the rounds on the abduction of Kankara schoolboys to undermine his commitment to end banditry in the region, and promised not to be deterred by saboteurs who don't mean well for the peace and stability of the country. Usman Akwanga reports that the governor commended the federal government and security agencies for swift response to prevailing security challenges faced in Zamfara State and the country as a whole. Stakeholders at a security summit by Nasarawa State Central Zone identified practical engineering skills acquisition among youth to promote employment and wealth creation in Nigeria. As a step to achieve the initiative is the donation of smart grid trainer to Nasarawa State University, KEFI, by National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI. Hamza Musa Makrafi reports.
Although summit discussions include specific issues of tackling security challenges, drug abuse, and participation in politics, skills acquisition, participants say, is central to youth empowerment. Therefore, understanding sector-wide energy diversification and serving needs of society is also important. And that's why Executive Vice Chairman NASENI, Professor Muhammad Sani Haruna, says donation of smart grid to the university will enhance research.
Unemployment is promoted by lack of skills, lack of technical know-how. People cannot be employed by themselves. So as government is trying to address that aspect of drug abuse and its infiltration into our society, we are doing this to attain to technology acquisition and job generation aspect of it.
We have said it that our engineering program will be unique, will be one of the best in the country, and therefore it can only be the best if we have all the requisite equipment.
Chancellor of the University, Emir of KEFI, Shehu Chindia Musa III, while rating Nasarawa State University high in academic pursuit, thanked President Buhari for approving the grid to the university. From KEFI, Hamza Musa Makalpi, NTA News.
And still on security, troops of Operation Hadarin Daji have rescued 10 kidnapped victims from bandits at Yewa village in Zamfara following a tip-off. A statement by the coordinator, Defense Media Operations, Major General John NTA, indicates that the rescue operation was sequel to a distress call on bandits' activities in the area. Similarly, troops of Operation Wellstroke have eliminated 1 bandit, arrested 2 others in separate encounter in Benue State. Major General NTA noted that the bandits are responsible for the recent killing of a Makurdi-based lawyer and his wife. Troops also raided bandits' hideout at Aboko village while acting on intelligence report on activities of remnants of the late Ghana's militia gang in parts of Katsina Ala local government area. Rescued students of Government Science Secondary School Kankara have put the agony of their abduction behind them as they gradually integrate into the mainstream of their community. Mohammed Salisu Awal, who engaged some of them, reports that they are optimistic of what the future holds for them.
Aliyu Kabir and Abdullahi Aliyu Abdullahi, both just 2 students of Government Science Secondary School Kankara, working hard to put behind the tragedy of abduction that befell them. Their ambition is to become doctors in the future, and both remain resolute to achieving the goal.
I thank Katsina State with that helping what they are helping them students.
I thank government for rescuing us. My dream is to become a medical doctor in the future.
Parents of Aliyu Kabir and Abdullahi Aliyu Abdullahi reiterated commitment to supporting the children to realize their dreams.
The government and the security
Force, they played a very vital role on this issue.
On the other hand, Education Secretary, Kankara Local Government Area, Ibir Ali Kankara, commended the effort of government and security operatives in rescuing the students. In Katsina, Mohammed Salis Awal, NTA News.
Towards alleviating the sufferings of the internally displaced persons in the country, the federal government, through the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, has flagged off the construction of 600 housing units, each in Katsina, Zamfara, Borno and Edo states. The Commission, in collaboration with the Central Bank of Nigeria, has also commenced the verification of 20,000 IDPs in Katsina for implementation of Project Reliance, so as to restore their means of livelihoods lost during the attacks. Shehu Adamu reports.
At a foundation-laying ceremony for the construction of 600 housing units for the internally displaced persons in Bazar local government area of Katsina State, a federal commissioner at National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Senator Bashir Garba Mohammed, said, for now the commission is commencing with the construction of 100 houses.
On behalf of all displaced persons in Nigeria, I want to say a big thank you to President Muhammadu Buhari for his commitment towards alleviating the suffering of our persons of concern.
He said the housing units under the Resettlement City Reintegration and Rehabilitation Program of the Commission consist of 2-bedroom flat with a courtyard enough for the beneficiaries to construct additional rooms. While commending the support and cooperation of the federal and Katsina State government to the Commission, Senator Bashir Garba Mohammed said the houses will be ready in the next 1 year. Meanwhile, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons has commenced the verification of 20,000 IDPs in Katsina for the implementation of Project Reliance to restore their means of livelihoods lost to banditry and flood. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
Let's pause here in Abuja and let Higino in Lagos feed us with more reports. Higino, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ian Ray. An eagle-eye surveillance approach will be adopted in the monitoring of safety compliance to traffic signs on the Lagos-Ibadan corridor during and after the festive periods. The systematic approach, safety officials say, is geared towards reducing carnage on the expressway. Abolade Salami reports.
The 112 kilometers Lagos-Ibadan road stretch is regarded as one of the most busy corridor in the southwest, owing to its peculiarity as regards high volume of articulated and commercial vehicles plying the road to either lift petroleum products or engage in inter- and intra-state activities.
The long bridge on the Lagos-Ibadan corridor is usually a beehive of activity, but as you can see from my rear, vehicles are having it all free. Vehicles coming in from other states into Lagos are having a jolly ride. Same applies for vehicles exiting Lagos going to other states. And the information we gathered from engineers on ground here is that they removed most of the barricades that were causing traffic just to ease gridlock on the road.
With the road expansion project embarked upon by the federal government to decongest traffic on the corridor, most drivers plying the route do not obey the safety measures put in place to checkmate carnage in the access. In a bid to ensure safety during and after the festive periods, the Federal Safety Corps and National Emergency Management Agency officials are combing the corridor to ensure all obstructions are taken off the road.
We have about 3 things to actually achieve here. Smooth movement, reducing road traffic crashes, and the backlash to Lagos to make Lagos Metropolis gridlock eased off. Those are the major things we actually want to achieve with this assessment.
While all efforts are geared towards free flow of traffic, the need for safe driving has also been re-emphasized.
We have about 500 trained volunteers who can respond on their own till statutory agencies get to a place. So at any time, if there is any emergency, we are capable.
The synergy between road safety officials and emergency responders all agreed will go a long way in saving lives in case of emergencies. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Talking security now. The Nigerian military remains resolute in its determination to enhance the welfare of its personnel before and after retirement. The Chief of Defense Staff made this known at the Nigerian Armed Forces Resettlement Center during the passing out ceremony of Trainees Course 02 2020 in Lagos. Lynn Leneke reports.
These military personnel have served their fatherland, and it's time to disengage from service. The Nigerian Armed Forces have equipped them with relevant vocational and management skills to enable them to integrate into civil society. Speaking from this perspective, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Gabriel Olonishaki, stressed that welfare of personnel is a priority to the federal government, adding that the federal government is not resting on its oars at restoring security to troubled regions in the country.
As our ambassadors, I believe you are all capable of excelling in your future endeavors and positively influence your environment for the economic, social and political benefits of our dear country.
The Commandant Nafric harped on the need for retirees to be security conscious and make positive contributions to nation building.
All other courses you have attended while in service, this one was specifically geared towards your personal self-development. Your successful completion of the course is a testament of your determination, commitment and discipline in the past 35 years of active service to our dear nation.
Nafric is charged with the responsibility of imparting skills relevant to the resettlement needs of retiring military personnel in the country. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
It's time for another break. Network News continues shortly.
Proud supporter of the best supporters in the world. Glow, because we love it.
Guess what?
What?
I scored a hat-trick today.
Cool!
Wow!
And how did you celebrate?
Just do your hands like this.
And hold your nose like this?
Body odor is caused by germs. That's why you need the new improved Dettol Cool Soap, which protects against 99.9% odor-causing germs with an extra burst of menthol freshness. Dettol, be 100% sure.
Expressions without words won't have it any other way. Moments will feel joy. Been lost in the moment, the freedom you will find. That's what's celebrating. Bring your moments alive. Find your satisfaction in the nourishing, trending, sparkling. Celebrate a little way, making big differences. In the nourishing, trending, sparkling.
Enjoy in red grape, white grape, peach variants, the lettuce sparkling fruit drink. Celebrate every moment.
Introducing evaporated milk that contains all the nourishment of milk, including high calcium, 7B vitamins, vitamin D3, phosphorus, magnesium, and 50% less fat. It comes comes in 3-pack sizes, and the 60-gram pack is only 50 naira.
Hollandia Slim Evaporated Milk. All the nourishment of milk, 50% less fat.
That match was crazy.
Okpeo, I won! 1 million naira, talk about it.
Wow! I told you, bro. Honorable promo talk baggy is real.
Tunde, what baggy?
Hey, my girl. Swale baba mi.
David, what baggy?
Honorable.
And my darling Joy.
Yes, baby.
What baggy?
You could become the next millionaire in the honorable promo. Talk by ye to enter. Look under the crown cork of your bottle for a code. Then dial *8011 your code to enter for weekly draws where you could win free airtime and cash from 5,000 naira to 1 million naira. Honorable promo. Talk by ye.
Guess what?
What?
I scored a hat trick today.
Cool.
Wow.
And how did you celebrate?
Just do your hands like this.
And hold your nose like this.
Body odor is caused by germs. That's why you need the new improved Dettol Cool Soap, which protects against 99.9% odor-causing germs with an extra burst of menthol freshness. Dettol, be 100% sure.
After a 7-goal demolition at the hands of the champions last time out, will Crystal Palace enjoy a Merry Christmas when they visit Villa Park? This Saturday, it's Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Babaijebu, Lipton, and Close Up, in association with Goal.com.
Glad to have you back. A new governing council that will oversee activities of the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities has been inaugurated in Abuja. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, who performed the ceremony, challenged the board members to bring the desired change in the lives of persons with disabilities. Ruth Aguele reports.
It has been really, really challenging growing up with the lack of access in the environment and sometimes with the health challenges.
Amina Audu recounting her ordeal for being disabled. But all hope is not lost as the story is changing.
And by the powers bestowed on me,
it is a new dawn with the inauguration of a new governing council that will spearhead activities of the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. Members of the board are drawn from the 6 geopolitical zones.
I therefore challenge you to bring to bear your expertise in putting in your best, devoid of personal enrichment, to support the Commission to deliver a dividend of democracy to persons with disabilities.
I assure you that we will fully integrate all persons with ability in the society.
To show their gratitude, President Muhammadu Buhari was honored as their Grand Commander and the Minister for her contributions in making this vision come alive. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
In the spirit of the season, the Minister of Women Affairs has reached out to over 70 groups of less privileged persons in Abuja with bags of assorted food items to cushion the effects of the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. Momso Damian Dati brings us more.
These were representatives of diverse women groups from religious cycles, civil society organizations, and the physically challenged, answering the call of the Minister of Women Affairs, who is extending a hand of charity.
Just want to show a sign of love and solidarity to all of you. It will not stop today. As we get some, we'll keep reaching out more. Give this little token so that you can share those in need.
Men and girls with disabilities here. This is huge. This is big. And we're very, very grateful. It will go a long way.
The gifts distributed include bags of assorted food items, clothing, and others. In Abuja, Momso Damian Dati, NTA News.
Total Exploration and Production Nigeria Limited is partnering with relevant stakeholders towards deepening agro-business development and enhanced food production in its host community in Agi Kingdom. Total EP Nigeria Limited says the objective of the investments in agriculture is to help create more jobs and return Agi land as a food basket in River State. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
Total E&P Nigeria Limited, the operating partner of NNPC Total joint venture, has consistently supported government programs aimed at sustainable development of its host communities. In response to the need for food, Total E&P distributed agricultural produce from its demonstration farms to the host communities within the oil mining license OML 55 on behalf of its joint venture partners. For some of the beneficiaries, beyond the economic benefits, Total E&P has further demonstrated leadership amongst its peers in the area of corporate social responsibility.
They single-handedly set up the feed production plant section for us, and going forward, at some point they have placed order for more than 5,000 bags of feed and will deliver.
Total E&P General Manager, Community Affairs, Projects and Development, Mr. Obinna Ofeze, represented by the Deputy General Manager, Okechukwu Obara, said Total is convinced that agriculture provides viable alternative for sustainable livelihood for interested persons within its host communities.
We are looking at partnering with Total. CBN is involved in program that will empower the people forever.
The River State government at the event gave indication to pursue mechanized agriculture in the state, commending Total's initiative and investment in the agricultural sector. The company also visited its rice demonstration farm at Oboburu in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Let's have a bit of sports now, and Olumide Guntola will feed us.
During an interactive session with journalists in Lagos, the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dari, said adopting an holistic approach to the sector will bring the desired results in 2021 and beyond.
We've institutionalized this, and we're doing that